here we go in a very interesting week, and you are up front with Frank Rothstein on the City World Radio Network, as well on Skies Crescent Radio at skiescrescentradio.com, and you can also find that on Spreaker.com. And I would relay all the other .coms that you could think of, but I don't have enough wind in my lungs. Sitting with me, as always, is someone who's listening to all the odd end news stories that I read. It is the very amazed Jade Zabrick. So we have a lot going on this week. As we all know, our brilliant president, if he hasn't already done it, is giving the State of the Union address. I don't care what he has to say. Not because I don't care what Donald Trump has to say, but I know what they all have to say. And they're going to sit there, and someone from the front door yells, "Ladies and gentlemen, the Speaker, the President of the United States," and everyone applauds and all that kind of crap. And then he introduces everybody, and the whole room stands up and applauds. And then by a time, like 15 minutes of introducing everybody, then he gets to the speech. And from every point from there on, one side of the room stands up and applauds, the other side does not. Doesn't matter who the president is. Whatever it is, Republican, Democrat, one side stands up, the other side does not. If we ever have an independent president, this will be interesting to watch. If we ever have a Jewish president, no one's standing up. Anyway, so I am over here with you good people listening to all the chirps, because I'm looking at Pat Sainville, who's been chirping about everything going on in the world from his social media site, chirpaboutit.com. But let us to get to some of the meatier things in the news circuit that I find all around the world when you get away from the headlines. And by the way, before I forget, I also am broadcasting on LiveMe, and everyone there can see me. All my humans, all my robotic friends, everyone can see me over there. And first thing I wanted to say is I look like I need a shower. Why do I need a shower? Because it was 62 degrees today, and the heat is on everywhere. I'm dying. I'm sweating. This is like a doctor's delight this week. Everyone gets to heat up and warm up and sweat it up. Then the temperature drops, and everybody, including little children, gets sick. It's a pediatrician's dream. That's all I got to say. So, okay, where are we? Pat, you going to say it? Have a seat, man. Take it easy. Have a seat. Yeah, it's okay. You're on that side. How does it look from that side of the table?
Yeah, interesting. I actually like it over here on this side.
It's a good side.
Yeah.
It's more relaxing. You can say the same things. You don't have to worry about.
Well, you know what? You should have me as a guest on your show at some point.
Well, I can't. I tell you, everyone can stay here. By the way, if there's anything, and so Pat Sainville's hanging in from Chirp About It, as is Marlene Villafane, and they don't want to take their jackets off. They're just going to sit here and sweat in this very hot room. Well, and if you want to call in and laugh at what's going on in the world with us, it is 646-690-2976, 646-690-2976. Okay. Which is the first. Shall we cover racism first? I like this one. Or shall we cover the, what is he calling himself? An antinatalist.
Anti-natalist.
Oh, okay, that's how we're going. There we go. Zippity doo-dah. Here we go. What? There's a tech. We're checking on the tech stuff. Hold on. We're not doing a thing. Everybody, sit on your hands for 2 minutes. How's that?
Good.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So I'm looking at this story, and it's a guy named Raphael Samuel, a 27-year-old antinatalist from Mumbai, believes it was wrong for his mother and father to create him without his consent.
Okay.
I am not kidding you. Now, I'm going to give you the definition of antinatalist before we get into this. And I got this from Wikipedia. So antinatalist or antinatalism is a philosophical position that assigns a negative value to birth. Antinatalists argue that people should abstain from procreation because it is morally bad. Okay, and then in parentheses, some also recognize the procreation of other sentient beings as morally bad. So if two elephants stoop, it's no good at all.
It's no good.
Okay. In scholarly and liberally writings, various... Okay, so I don't have to read. You know what I'm saying here.
Right.
Okay, so pretty much, let's take away the obvious. At some point in time, everybody has said to their parents during an argument, I didn't ask to be born.
I didn't ask to be born.
After that, what do you got? Marlene, you look like you're waiting.
Yeah. Well, okay, so you were supposed to ask me for my consent before you decide to get together and all that. How did they expect to do that? I mean, I'd like to know. Okay, if that's what he thinks,
He's suing his parents.
he's suing his parents. Okay, so what would you have liked for them to do for you? How could they have asked you for your consent? That would be my question to him. If you were not born yet, how would they ask for your consent?
I could give you the gross answer. I don't have a logical answer. I can give you the
Right.
gross answer, which is, well, just before things started to happen, she's supposed to, by hand, look at him and say, excuse me.
Right.
And I don't know what else. That's the gross answer.
well,
There's
if
no
that-
logical answer.
Well,
to
It
this.
the question is, what's going on in this man's life?
He wants a check. What else can it be?
I mean,
But from his parents?
yeah,
People sue
I'm
their parents, and
thinking-
parents sue their kids for a lot
But-
of different things.
Oh,
I don't know. Like, if you have to sue your parents, like, why isn't your family's money together? First, not that
Well-
it's together, but I'm saying, like, why? That's, you know what I mean? Like, why would you have to sue? Like,
I mean,
wait
It's weird.
wait to sue.
wait till.
Well, is that
That's
fact that he's
27
going
years,
he's
you
going
know.
through something, through
It's
stuff in his
gaining
life, and
traction in India as younger people resist social pressure to have children, which is also a story from last week that Americans are not having enough kids,
Oh,
not enough children are being born to sustain.
to say,
But this is what's happened in that generation of everyone's against pressure. They can't. We have to take care of the kids. We have to do this. We have to
Yeah,
be responsible.
yeah.
And the pressure.
this topic. I mean,
Yeah.
hold on.
You could chirp about that if you want tomorrow or next
Man
week.
wants
It's a good
to-
story.
Okay, so what is he thinking exactly? I love my parents, he writes on Facebook, and we have a great relationship, but they had me for their joy and their pleasure. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Well, unless
Okay.
someone married a hooker, it's not a good business decision. This is, I mean,
Right. I mean,
Joy and their pleasure.
I mean, I'm not sure what it costs to raise a kid in Mumbai, but in America, it costs money.
Like, is he
Wow.
mad that they had and didn't give it to him? Because
He's
how can you
full of
how can you
shit.
sue
He
your
wants a
parents for
check.
not? Yeah, but is there money to get?
I have no
So
idea, but he's going to try.
he probably got cut off by his parents. Is mad.
He could have been, and
we
there
don't know
probably
the-
is money to
that's
get.
right.
That's-
But I want
Um,
I would love to know the medical expert that can testify
I just
as
think
to why he has
as
a
a
case.
family dynamic, if you're
Yeah.
a child and you don't think that you're going to get your parents' money and you have to sue in order for that to happen, something went wrong down the road.
Right.
Because you should just respect that.
Well,
and
if you remember, I did a story a couple of months ago about a guy who's lived at home forever, and his parents said it's time for you to go get your own life
Your
and
own
move
life,
out.
yeah.
And he went to a judge not to have to move out right away.
I read about that a few months ago.
I mean, there are cases
And-
that are much more, of importance.
Of
I think.
importance, yeah. Of
You
more
know, that need to
substance,
be
yeah.
looked at. This is kind
Evidently
of this
not in Mumbai.
is, yeah. This is a little. I have.
We
it
had a
sounds-
lawyer here. We should have kept
We
him.
should have kept
I
him, yeah.
mean-
Ed Lemo,
Take that
come
with
back.
you. Take that with you. Ask him tomorrow. But that is what's going on.
Can
You
I
know,
say one more thing?
You know,
say whatever you want.
I do totally believe that I chose to be born, and I
Yeah.
chose my parents.
So
I believe that too.
during one of the sonograms, you were inside the womb yelling, "Let me out of here!
What? What? No.
My
but-
turn."
No.
I know. I
but
agree with you. I agree with you, Jade.
I
mean, it
chose
makes
my
sense.
parents. I love y'all.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
agree. I
sweet.
agree with that. Like,
Look, we have the stories I've been reading about supposed experts saying that parents should ask their babies' consent for changing their diapers.
Oh
That way
my
to
God, it's
teach them
just-
early on from the beginning about asking consent and how to treat women, even though. What if can the kids say no? If you're asking for consent, you're risking for anything.
Right.
You're risking the word no.
No.
Now, suppose this kid. So mom is now pregnant. Now they're in the first, they're on the tail end of the first trimester. Now you can see what's going on. And someone now knocks on the door and says of the belly and says, "What do you think, kid?" Can the kid say no?
no. I mean, it's
I'm not sure of the abortion laws in Mumbai. If the kid says no, can they abort? What's going on now?
right.
I mean, it sounds serious is what I'm saying, but it really is the stupidest thing.
Stupidest
It-
thing.
it
I'm
is.
speechless. I mean,
Well, I don't think that would work because even after a child or an adult is alive, he can't decide that he doesn't want to live.
Look, I was having an argument with my father one time a few years ago. I said, "Listen," and I was like 47 at the time. I said, "Listen, the warranty on me is good till 50. If you want to send me back, feel free. I'll go back on the shelf. I'll be sold on the used market for body parts."
oh my gosh. I can't believe it.
The
Oh,
answer
my
is
gosh.
I didn't ask to be born, Frank. That's what you tell them.
My mother's
I didn't
listening.
ask to be born.
My mother's listening.
Oh.
Ma, did you give me an option? Did you ask me what I thought about being
Right.
born in Brooklyn in Coney?
Hello, Miss Rothstein.
I don't know, man. I feel like this kid is crazy, and if I was his mom and he said that, I would be like, all right, well, you don't have to be here anymore.
You can have. Well,
Well,
I'd love to
like-
know what he's asking because he can have it now, this amount now, and not get one more diamond inheritance. I'm hoping that would happen. So you want your 100,000 now? You're not going to get the 5 million I have for you later. Get out
Yeah.
of my life.
I want to piggyback on what Jade said. I do agree with you, Jade. I believe that I did choose to be born. We're not just flesh and bone. We are spirit, and we're here to become better people. Now, I'm going into a different direction, but I'm being honest. This is how I think. This is how I feel. I believe we're here on this earth to be far better people, not just to be good, but to be better. I mean, spiritually, mentally,
Of
in all
course.
levels.
So does- so that
I
means-
think we just didn't come here out of nothing. That's ridiculous. What's the point of life if we didn't procreate? What's the point? You're here because you have to be better.
Right.
There's something that we need to clean or to come clean with, or spiritually. I'm very much into reincarnation. I'm very much into past lives. I am. That's what life is. What's the point if you don't
Well,
have that?
with
What would
the-
be the point? If
With
you
the
can-
gist of this story,
Uh-huh.
what if you were a twin and your twin is next to you in the womb saying, "Are you crazy?
Are you crazy?
Are you?
Yeah.
Did you read today's paper? Are you crazy?
Oh,
I hear
boy.
the radio outside." That's what's going on.
Oh my goodness.
What else? Let's get to racism for a second. Oh, Lord.
Racism.
Yeah, well, what the hell with the State of the Union? So there's a story out now. You remember you were here when I was talking about Charlie Brown,
Yes.
Okay. Not good enough.
The
Not good enough. Mary Poppins chimney sweep blackface dance is racist, claims academic. So we're talking about Julie Andrews, Dick Van Dyke. Remember the scene? Do you know Dick Van Dyke?
Yep.
Okay. Now we know what a chimney sweep does.
Of course.
Oh yeah.
I'd be very disappointed if I saw a clean chimney sweep
Oh yeah.
Of course.
dancing with his workers.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is now racist.
Because she went down the chimney and she came
She did.
back.
No, the dance. He came up. The kids, one of the kids, well, all four of them actually, yeah. Let me see if I can get this without glitching my computer. Wait a second. Hold on. Let me get to it because my computer is very sensitive and I'm waiting for all the new technology to come out in March. Because as we all know,
There we
Consumer
go. Okay.
Electronics Show came
All
out.
right. Here's
Okay.
the scene.
So we all know
No.
the scene. That's the still shot, the photograph. This is the same as Charlie Brown not dating a black girl when he was always after the little redheaded girl. Now, this is
Blackface
now
dance is
Dick Van
racist
Dyke,
claim.
Julie Andrews, and two kids who I never knew what their name was, is now racist. The scene, he has a broom, they're dancing. So I'm not sure, is that because they're actually in blackface, or is it because they're in blackface and they're dancing?
And they're
Oh,
dancing.
it's so ridiculous.
Let's see what it says. In the article
Ridiculous.
in the New York Times, Daniel Pollock Pelsner, a professor of English and gender studies professor at Oregon's Linfield College, has said in the body of what P.L. Travers the sequence signifies racial panic. He called the scene blacking up. And while it may seem innocuous,
Blacking up.
it has other more troubling connotations. What does it say? Oh, I see. When he goes, I guess he goes in the Mary Poppins and says, "Don't touch me, you black heathen." Well, he's filthy and she's clean, and he's about to kiss her. If I remember,
Look,
so
If you're going to bash Mary Poppins
Yeah.
because of something like that, which makes no sense, completely ridiculous, bash, and I love West Side Story. I think it's a classic, right? But let's take a look at the cast. The only Puerto Rican there was Rita Moreno,
Yeah, Rita
la
Moreno,
única
yeah.
puertorriqueña, right? The man who played Bernardo was Greek, okay? That's great. George Chakiris was wonderful. Respect, lots of respect for him,
Puerto
right?
Rican? He played a Puerto Rican?
He played a Puerto Rican, right? Everybody else, most of the cast, particularly the men in the Sharks, not the rest of them really weren't Latinos. They were Caucasian, and by the way, they darkened their skins. Hello,
they needed,
get
yes.
get with it, sweetheart.
They
Get
needed
over
people
Mary
to look
Poppins,
Spanish,
honey.
yeah.
Get over that, really.
The
Get
actual
over it.
scene is
Look at West Side Story.
he reaches his darkened hand
You can
out when he
tell.
tries to approach her and threatens to quit. And I think he wanted to shake her hand.
Mm-hmm.
And her line was, where is it? If that Hottentot which is it's an old expression, goes into the chimney. I shall go out the door, she says, using an archaic slur for black South Africans that recurs on page and script.
I can't.
So now we know that Dick Van Dyke is in blackface and Julie Andrews is a racist? Is that what
You know,
it is?
I think people are just making.
I
up,
just
these
really-
stories.
So-
I
people are
think
bored and
There,
you know,
yeah, you know.
Is anybody out there listening to this crap?
With the
646
technology.
How many people are who are
2976.
not
And
enough
on
people
Live
darkening
Me,
their
send me a
skin?
comment. Tell
well,
me
now
what you
with
think.
social
You know?
media, they can get their their concerns out there through Twitter, to all
Shut
the
it
social
down
media.
for a
It's just
month.
crazy.
Let people
and
clear
let's
their
see what
mind.
happens. Yeah.
Let them actually go out and talk to people.
You know what, Frank? I
Look
totally
at
agree
Hollywood.
with you.
Look at old Hollywood. You know, they did it all
Yeah.
the time. They got Ava Gardner to play a mixed-raced woman over Lena Horne, and they were roommates. Lena Horne didn't get the part, but she's perfect for it because Lena Horne was a mixed-race woman who could pass for white. They took Ava Gardner. Let's talk about those things.
Right.
You're getting stuck on Mary Poppins because he went down the chimney and they're dancing. You think it's blackface?
He came up
How
filthy.
petty?
Well,
How
came up
petty
Who,
is
who
that?
wrote
You
the
know?
article? White, black?
She's Marlene
Oh,
Holmes.
okay. Daniel Pollock Peltzer.
Is he white or black?
Peltzer.
I have no idea.
Because honestly, I feel like a black person probably wouldn't care too much about this because it's obviously
No.
not. But a white person just stirring up the pot, trying to
Yeah.
like,
Trying, yeah.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
stirring-
Who actually
Trying
doesn't
to
think
sell a
this
story.
He probably doesn't think it's blackface, but he probably doesn't think that a whole bunch of other things are blackface as well. So he's probably trying to add
I'm
this
going
into
to
the
Google
conversation
him
to
and see what I can get.
distract.
I'm going to Google this guy and see what I can get right now. But while we're still talking, I didn't think to do that.
Oh.
I just want to
I
find
mean,
his
It's
face.
these stories.
This
it's
is
these
not. I
headlines.
mean, look at all West Side Story. Come on, you know. You could tell. Look at the movie. You
Right.
can tell they darkened them. They got tans and they darkened them because they're not. A lot of them were not.
A guy named Daniel Pollock
Oh,
Pelza is
Daniel
not
Pollock.
black. This is the most Jewish-looking guy I'm going to find.
This
He's
is-
white as you're going to
Pollock.
get.
This is someone who's trying to stir up things, and
He's
I
stirring up
honestly,
shit.
Yeah, he's
honestly
just stirring up. That's
probably
what it is.
dressed some kind of way in his past life.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. BA in history, Yale, and PhD in English, Harvard.
Harvard
How many times
University.
has everyone heard me rag on Harvard and Yale? They should stick to a once-a-year football game and leave it at that.
I love
Look at
Frank.
this smile like he has gas. Holy crap. Anyway, so that's what's going on. That's my come on, Pat.
No,
Let's open up our heads. Open up our heads.
I think there's a
Let's
lot of
think.
people out there that are trying to like make these little stupid stories distract us from the real cases.
Well, that's what
and
it
I
is.
think
That's-
that those people are the ones that are wrong. Whoever wrote this
well,
is wrong.
I'm sort of wondering.
like wrong.
Okay, he wrote it. Okay, he wrote it. And while I'm looking on the internet, Yahoo Entertainment, okay, contributors passing along. The man wrote it, and the Times got it. I'm trying to figure out how when he presents his article, this is the story, this is what I think, can you print it, that no one is looking at him and saying, are you
Are
kidding
you
me?
kidding me? Yeah.
Are you out of your mind?
Well, because someone will believe it. I think someone
look
will
at-
sympathize with this man.
And say to this guy who probably lives in the condo, hey, moron, do you
Yeah.
know what a chimney sweep
Yeah,
does?
yeah,
What,
yeah.
what he's surrounded by?
You think they're gonna come
Yeah.
out crystal clean?
Only
Yeah,
Santa Claus comes out crystal clean.
Crystal clean. With crystal clean. Crystal clean.
There you go.
Crystal ball.
He comes out with that ivory snow look. That's
Ivory
Santa.
snow
can do
look.
that.
Yeah, that
Everybody else,
Exactly.
everybody else gets filthy doing it.
Everybody else get filthy doing it, right?
But that's where you get a lot of stories these days.
Yeah,
Everything.
so funny.
It's like a go-to thing.
It's so funny.
It's crazy. Speaking
my
of race, not to switch the topic. Liam Neil, is it Nielsen or Neil
Neeson.
Neeson?
Liam
Neeson. Liam Neeson.
Did you hear about the story this
I
morning?
heard about it. He was protecting. He wanted to protect
family, a loved one
someone
who was
a woman.
raped.
And then I was listening to his interview because he made a point of saying it was black. Then he said, and when the interviewer said, how would you have done with anyone? He says, anyone else, Irish, Scottish,
Mhm.
Jew, anyone. He would have reacted
He
the
would
same
have
way.
reacted
Lies.
the
But
same way.
because it happened to be someone who was, but he used the word, but now he's a
Yeah.
racist. How many years ago was this?
I don't know how many years ago was that.
That now they're going to.
Well, maybe about 20, 25
I don't even know
years
how this came out, but he should have kept his mouth
Mouth
shut if he
shut.
did it and leave it alone. And I mean, I can understand if someone sits there and attacks or harasses someone I care about, I am going to kill them.
Right, no
That's
matter
a very
the race
generic thing.
or-
Knock yourself out.
Right. No. Right.
Well, it is.
Right.
It is. It's a
I
very
believe it.
generic thing. Knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Marlene, anyone harasses you, I am going to kill them. Do I have to go into detail of what they should
No.
or shouldn't look like?
Right. I mean, apparently he asked the color. She said black, and he walked and roamed around for the entire week.
I didn't find out how this story came out.
To an interview with, I believe,
he brought it up?
He brought it up.
Then he's stupid.
He brought it up.
What,
Well, he feels bad. You know, it's he has some form of remorse, and he just felt that people
He
should
will
know.
he will cost himself work for no reason
Oh, yeah.
whatsoever.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because he brought up a story that did not need to be brought up.
Yeah.
Or he added too much to it. And if it happened so long ago, who really cares?
Yeah. Now he just dumped it all on himself now. But it's just interesting that it's scary, for me as a black man to know. You see, number one, there will be copycats, and he isn't the first, white male who has behaved this way or had these thoughts. And it's scary for me.
I also go with, there isn't one person alive that I know of that has never at one time in their life said the wrong thing.
Right. I get
Done
it.
the wrong thing. Mostly said the wrong thing. It doesn't stick with you forever and ever. I can tell you there was times in my life when I have said the wrong thing.
Right.
And I'm not going to sit there and apologize all over the internet. I will say I was wrong.
And you realize
I leave it at that.
And I think that's what he's saying. That's why he's confessing.
Someone
he was
like
wrong.
this going on network television
And-
to put if it's even possible to stick a knife in your own back,
Right.
go to it, man. Good luck.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for him.
What?
No, I wanted to say, I heard Jim Parsons say this. Very good actor, Jim Parsons. And he said, and we had dealt with Roseanne. It dealt with her after the tweet and all that and all. And he said, I find it fascinating, though, that an elected official will get away, will vote for elected officials and let them get away with saying heinous things towards Muslims and gays and things. Atrocious things, atrocious policies, things like that, and we still put them in, and we vote for them. But when a celebrity like Liam Neeson, like Roseanne, say things like that, but they still apologize for it afterwards, they are hung.
First of
it's
all,
like they let them get away with it.
the apology is useless. People
Yep.
want to hear it just so they can reject it.
Yeah, but I'm
do.
saying I'm just finding that he said it's fascinating that an elected official will get away with doing things like that, saying the same thing that Roseanne would say.
Right.
You still get voted in, still get back, still supportive when a celebrity does it.
And that
Oh
is-
my God!
I always have the
You know?
same theory
Yeah.
over how an elected official gets in, depending on which way you vote. I don't care what you think about their thoughts on health, on the other thoughts on women, on their thoughts on racism. It comes down to health coverage versus taxes. And if you want your tax break, it doesn't matter what
No.
this guy says.
It doesn't
used
matter.
to be that if you even coughed or sneezed, you were out of the election. Now, with people and their floating sensitivities, it doesn't matter what you say. This guy who we appeal to never used the words as he's been described. And narcissists, whatever else, they don't pronounce these words. They never use these words. They're sitting in a bar. What? You want another drink? What? It's the way it is. Look, Senator Al Franken was out like that. He was gone right away.
Yeah, it matters what side you're on.
It matters what side,
you're- it matters
and
what
it
side
One
matters,
side cares, neither doesn't.
and it matters how you sell yourself. And that's just what it comes down to, how you sell yourself. This guy got to the election. Forgetting Ben Carson and who was it, Carly Fiorina, the other, the woman in business who took over Yahoo. That was on
I
the
recall
that was
her
in the
name,
the primaries. With the exception of two people, everybody else in government had a better knowledge of a superior knowledge of somewhat what was needed
Right.
to be in government work, except this guy. But he was smarter and he knew how to do it. And they
Exactly.
didn't. They're still mentioning Ronald Reagan. That's how I see it.
And I'm not saying that I'm siding with anybody particularly by bringing that up. I just thought that it was interesting that he did say
But
that.
it's how you sell it.
It's
and who,
how you sell it, and I agree with you also. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I mean, I totally agree. It is.
I gotta tell you,
Yeah.
everyone loves President John Kennedy. Oh, everyone loves this guy.
Exactly.
As everyone loves Jackie Kennedy Onassis, while he was screwing around all over the place, he and his
Absolutely.
brother
Absolutely.
passing around Marilyn Monroe, who
Absolutely.
didn't need them, and his
Absolutely.
father, the rum runner during the Depression.
Yeah.
And we love these guys.
love
you
these
know.
guys,
And the
yeah.
other brother who left a woman to die in an accident. Yeah, they're great. They're all
Yeah,
great.
they're
yeah.
wonderful. Yes.
They can do anything they want.
They,
yeah.
they can do no wrong.
They can
They
do
can
no
do
wrong.
no wrong with their saints. Absolute
Yeah.
saints. Absolutely.
So, and then what else has happened? So we all know the State of the Union came up tonight. I'm
Ooh.
not sure if it's. I don't even know if it's over or not.
No,
I
it's
really
not.
don't care. But I don't even watch.
How long is it for? Half hour?
Depends
An
on
hour?
how long he wants to talk.
Less than
And
like
this
10
guy
minutes.
can talk.
You think
No,
so?
not less than 10
But
minutes.
this is quite interesting. This whole thing, especially with
I wonder what
the
new.
young man,
Yeah. I wonder what new bumper
Mr.
sticker.
Raphael Samuel. Very interesting. Yeah.
What new bumper sticker do you think Donald Trump will give us this time? We had "Make America
Make
Great
it
Again."
great.
Sounds good when you think about it. Make America Great. It's
Great.
good for a T-shirt and a hat and a bumper sticker. Lock her up was a biggie.
Yep.
Build the wall. Build
Build
that
the wall. Wall is
build
yeah.
that wall.
Build
that
that
wall.
wall.
Sounds
Remember
pretty
that?
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, then there was Hillary Clinton's "I'm with her," and as good as "I'm with stupid" or "Have a nice day." It's all that kind of stuff. Wonder what? Let's see. I'm reading. Drain the swamp was a biggie.
Was a
yeah,
big-
lock
yeah.
it, build the wall. Drain the swamp. These are all catchy things that somebody thinks of very well.
The guy's a genius marketer.
And why do
You
I
know.
bring that up? Because I was kidding around last week, almost every election. I'm running.
You're
I'm
running.
running. And I want a pastrami in every pot. I'm running for my platform will be more affordable delicatessen than people can afford. People should not have to spend all kinds of money to go out for a corned beef sandwich.
Right.
That's true. I want a pastrami in every pot. And that actually is just a takeoff from what President Herbert Hoover did during with the Great Depression, where he promised a chicken in every pot and a car in every garage.
In every
That
garage.
sounds pretty good. A chicken in every pot for
And a
people
car.
who are starving and they need to eat and they need to find a way to get. He's promising them food.
Food and transportation.
It wasn't him that got us out of the Depression, but okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you need
That's
some
also
good.
a clever move,
you
yeah.
need some really good sayings that are catchy that people can latch on to.
Yeah. No, I get
And
it.
remember about America's not all that, but we latch on to all the stories, and nothing is perfect anywhere. But I don't see kings and queens abdicating to come here.
Right.
People who came here needed or had to, they needed to, or get out.
Yeah.
That's what it was. When they all started coming to Ellis Island, they needed a better life. They had to, out of want or need. They had to get out of
To
where
get
they
out
were.
Wherever they were. Yeah.
Whether you were in a war-torn country or you're just broke where you are, they got out.
That's right.
And when people talk about, well, we don't need immigrants, trust me, if it wasn't for America taking people in,
America wouldn't be what it is today.
America, well, a lot of people would have died
Yeah.
all through Europe and Poland and all that. So that's all I could think about that. What do you think? Someone give me a song and dance about this. There's got to be something to say about this. Jade, you're so quiet.
About which one?
Anything.
Well,
Chime in. You were just a juror in the last show.
oh yeah. I was excluded.
Well, no, with this young man wanting to sue his parents, I mean, I'm still, I just don't get it.
I'd be
For
interested
what
in meeting
reason?
him. I'd be interested in meeting him, really, because he sounds like an interesting guy, though. Even though it's, this is quite
He's
different.
creative.
Yeah, he is
and-
creative.
and-
I mean,
I'd like to meet him.
Is
I
he
wouldn't
going
mind
through
meeting him,
something,
man.
and
I have no idea
saying
who this
that
guy is.
I'm going to sue you
Let's have him on the
because
show.
But if you ever
I
meet
didn't ask to be
somebody,
born?
I don't know. But if you ever meet somebody and is about to have a kid and looks to his parents who rejects the thought of a grandchild, he's going to say, "Ma, how could you not want your own grandchild?"
Ha ha.
I mean, but okay.
Yes, of course.
Even if this guy sucked and his mom was rich, that mom would still help that grandchild out. This kid, there's no what? No, I don't. There's no reason for you to
It's
sue
like,
your
what?
mom.
I mean, it makes.
Like-
I don't know. It's very.
There's no reason.
well, I mean,
Or-
you got
there
if
could
you
be
got cut
some
off, there's
reason.
probably a reason why you got cut off.
Or maybe he knows exactly what he's doing. Maybe this is all something he's doing on purpose
Mm-hmm.
to just cause of conversation we're having right now. It could be that.
Oh well, this isn't
That's
a
right.
Just a
mainstream.
co-
This is not a
conversation.
mainstream
It could be
story.
something that he's- for the hell of it, just to be on,
Just
be
to
on
be,
the spotlight.
just
He's just
be on
doing.
the
Maybe this
spotlight.
is
Yeah.
all
Well,
bluffing.
listen, we're talking
a
about
lot
it
of
now.
bluffs
You're
out
right.
there, really, and they blow it up. Media blows it up. We buy into it, and boom, we're got the next subject on hand. You know, it could be that. And he's making a
Raphael
whole lot of money.
Samuel.
It could be that.
See that, Raphael? We're chirping about you
He needs.
Could
on
be
Frank's
that.
show.
He has to go on Maury. Then he can find out who the father is. He could be just suing his mother.
Because, yeah, maybe she lied about his dad, to him about his dad. Who
It
knows?
could be,
I mean,
you
it could be
know?
a combination of
Yeah.
so many things. Maybe he doesn't like his look. And you know what? Every time he looks in the mirror, he's mad at himself. He says, you know what? Why the
Well, he
I
could
freak
take-
did you have me?
love it.
He could take a
Could be
haircut.
that.
He could do a lot
But
of
we
things.
use it. We can use it for
People do
different
come up
ways.
with strange
Different ways.
ideas and strange thoughts. I wouldn't be surprised if he's blaming them for his look, maybe. Who knows? Or his life. You never know. You know, I watched I shouldn't say,
Well, he must have.
Like-
He can have a dozen relatives telling him all his life, "You're so cute. You're a good-looking guy."
could be that too.
Should he sue his whole family
No,
No.
not at all. But it could be the
for
other way around.
defamation of
It's not even
caricature?
a case. There isn't even a case. I mean, in his mind, there
People are
is,
weird.
but
people
you know, there's. Then again,
are weird.
this is all you know.
You know, I'd like to hear his story. I
People
really
are
would love
stupid.
to. You know, let's check him out on Instagram or
Creative
social
and
media. I'd
they
like to send him an
create
email or
things and-
message.
Take it with you. Go ahead.
Direct
Look it up.
mail
It's
him.
very interesting.
Seriously, would like to direct mail this gentleman. Find out what.
Get him on the
exactly-
show.
Yeah.
He has a guru sort of thing about him with the look, the glasses, the beard.
Yeah.
You know, the sort of hippie sort of thing happening. With his appearance, but to see him in person would be absolutely
All right.
wonderful.
Well,
you know,
you got me thinking.
to
Raphael.
see it
You got
in
us
full
thinking.
blown colors. You know, I mean,
He'll give you his legal advice, and then you know you two have a case.
Boom. Get on the show. Get
Yeah,
him on
well,
the show.
I
You
certainly will
must.
DM
You
this man.
must.
Well, maybe if he's saying, "I wish I was never born," maybe someone can help him correct the problem.
Well, that's my point. There's probably an issue where that's probably the reason why he's looking to sue.
I'm looking at you. I'm,
Maybe there
I'm
isn't
agreeing-
an issue.
I'm
Maybe there
agreeing
who's
with
because
to
I'm
Tony.
say-
suffering.
He
you
wants.
know.
No, he's not
Maybe
suffering.
there isn't an issue. Like again, maybe it's just something he's creating to start
You know,
the next best big conversation.
I'm suffering, and
It
I
could
didn't
be
ask you
that.
guys to be born. I'm
It
suing you
happens
guys for
a lot.
that.
It's
Like,
happening
is
all
there
the
a lot
time.
of
For
money
causing
to
me
get?
pain.
Are his parents rich?
No idea.
I feel like that matters.
I didn't write this. Is that anywhere in
didn't
the
read it.
bottom?
Did you read the whole thing?
I don't. I never read. I actually did. I read the whole thing. I didn't see where the family is worth anything. I don't know what the family is worth. Oh my God, where's this guy?
I'm gonna get
failed
this
him.
guy on the show. No
If
question.
anybody in my family tried to do that, the rest of the family would take him out.
Well, if they ever fought with his parents, and they said, I wish I never had you," does that make them witnesses in his case?
Wait, say it again.
Right.
If he ever fights with his family, where one says, "Yeah, I wish I never had you,"
He wouldn't be
course.
around.
well, no, that's
That's what
you
I'm
already
saying.
have the
that
baby.
would cut deeper.
Would
I
that
wish
be-
I didn't have you.
That would be a witness to his case.
Wish I didn't.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
They can sue him. Like, why? How did you show up? I don't know.
You sort of have to think like me to get this case, to understand this case.
Oh my goodness.
He should have said, "We asked for a different kid."
So when you start reading all these chirps about people in New York with
Yeah.
their problems,
Yeah.
or, ass stinkers in the subway, well, where do you think that's?
Yeah. Exactly.
Read him this guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
People. I'm telling again. People have thoughts, crazy ideas, thoughts. I mean, I don't know. It's just
I
weird.
don't know. I'm fighting with my computer again. It was doing okay.
Pulling it off.
Everybody has their thing.
Let's see.
They're both sitting here reading this in amazement that I found.
mean,
I
yeah,
find
well,
these stories to talk
Where do you
about
find these stories?
all over the place.
All over the place.
Everywhere.
If you get away from the headlines,
Like,
Look-
well, what do you type in? Like, like.
I just look around. I look at on the AP. I look on Reuters.
Got
I look
you.
at
Top
the Mirror,
news.
the Sun, and I don't just take anything as taking it as gospel. I always
No.
punch in the headline or the
Right,
subject,
right.
and I
then-
see what outlets have it. So if every outlet in England has it, I can read
Then
it.
you can read.
If I'm getting it in the Times of anywhere, whether it's here, Chicago, L.A., London,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Oh boy!
I love it.
Staring. Oh wow. Okay. Mr. Raphael Samuel, I hope you're listening. We're going to have you on the show.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're
We're
going to reach
gonna
out to
have
Ralph.
you-
You'll be
'cause
going for
I
air
think,
expenses.
Yeah, Eric.
And then as you're making a big deal of him, there's a parade in his honor for winning the case. He'll be yelling, "It's good to be alive!"
It's good to
It-
be alive. Yeah.
ah.
All of a sudden.
All of a sudden, I feel much better.
All of a sudden.
I feel reborn. I feel like I've been reborn.
Yeah. Well,
But
maybe,
you didn't.
maybe
but
his
you
parents
didn't want to
does
be
have
born.
cash. Why is he looking to
Reborn.
sue? I mean, if they were broke, would he be looking to sue them?
I have
So
no way. I'm
obviously
betting they have something,
They have something. Yeah.
and they're
They have
probably not giving him what he wants. And
Yeah.
okay, fine,
I'm
but
gonna find a way to get what.
Maybe
I
they
need.
cut him out.
Maybe
Who knows? They
do
probably cut him out of the will.
again, I don't know what he's suing for. But if he gets what he wants, he may not be getting all he's going to get.
Yeah.
We don't know what the
Oh.
will says.
that. I love my parents. We have a great relationship, according to him. That's a
According
quote.
to him.
Yeah, I love my parents. We have a great relationship. Okay, well.
Well, that's what I
sounds
mean.
positive.
There's something.
So something
somewhere,
Of
got
course,
lost.
there's something wrong with it. Of
Of
course, just
course,
the
it's
basic
obvious.
premise is so stupid.
It's obvious. It's
You
obvious.
now have to convince people that he should have
Yeah.
been given the option of consent about being born
Yeah.
or conceived or whatever. But then again, it can't do conception because, well, you're not there yet. You can't
not there
born.
yet.
Well, if you pass the point of an abortion, well, then you have no choice.
It's obvious, yeah. A baby could see this in its cradle. A newborn can see this. It's obvious. It's ridiculous,
Now, speaking of about abortions, Franks, what do you think about this new law signed by our governor Andrew Cuomo last week?
The one where the baby can be
Yeah, can
aborted
be
at
born-
what point
at-
again?
Up to the ninth month.
Oh
That is
no! Ooh.
scary.
I will never tell anyone my thoughts on abortion as a general rule. An 8-month-old baby, late 8-month, bordering on 9 months, can be born safely, can be delivered safely. Optimally, you want it to run full term, but you can do a
no,
9
of course,
month,
yeah.
borderline
Maybe
9
even
month.
7 month.
Oh.
So, well, there have been cases.
There have been
It's
cases,
iffy, it's
yeah.
risky, but there are babies that can be delivered at the beginning of the 9th month. It happens. So you're pretty much looking for a couple of extra pounds on the kid, but pretty much there's a baby in there.
yeah.
Now,
yeah.
I don't know how you go about doing this. I cannot see. I just don't know how. So I'm assuming, I'm guessing it would have to be aborted by C-section.
C-section.
It's
yes,
big
of
enough.
course.
Well, it's not a matter of the moral. It's just.
Oh, I'm not saying
It's just the
anything. I'm
size of the
listening.
kid.
I'm
I mean, it's
listening.
just what it
C-section.
is.
Yes, absolutely.
What you do with it?
Yeah, they put in
I-
intensive care, and they.
Well, I
watch
was
it for
reading a
while.
case where they didn't even look after the baby. It was left there to cry and just
Oh, wow,
until it just
really?
died. Well, it was meant to be aborted,
God,
and it
yes,
was
yeah.
it was still alive. The article was called
my
"Surviving
God.
Abortion." A baby being aborted going into the 9th month is what it is. Or, I mean, obviously, a day before the due date, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
It does right.
I don't know who
Ridiculous.
thinks about this, but it just doesn't work.
Ridiculous.
And
It
if you're
is.
going to have a C-section to abort, you might as well have a C-section for the kid and give it up for adoption.
You might as well have the child and give it up for exactly. What's the
You're
point?
there anyway.
It's
Why?
criminal.
This,
It's
why are
just-
you
it's
waiting
just
to?
criminal.
It's just
It's
ridiculous.
I don't know what the hell. I didn't
hard.
read.
That's
the,
illegal to do.
I didn't read the part about something happened to the mother, but then again, there have been cases where something has happened to the mother,
to the mother.
early on, where she's in a coma, she's vegetative state, she's not going to survive, but she's kept alive as an incubator for the baby.
Mm-hmm.
That is a whole
That-
other
that-
story.
another story,
And a
yeah.
whole- well, that has happened. The father is there. He has to make a decision. I want the kid. What are we going to do?
What are we
The
gonna
baby
do?
is perfectly fine. And depending on how people think about it, there have been women who have been sustained as an incubator so the baby can run full term. I don't mean from like the second month all the way to 9, but if you have someone in the 7th month,
7th month.
7.5 months,
Yeah.
it has been done.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Yeah.
In a case like this, I don't know what people think about. I've said often I'd rather talk to dogs and cats, but this is what's going
But
on.
who's voting on these things? I don't.
That this governor would sign such a thing, I'm surprised he signed it in this state.
Right.
I don't begin to even think about how health coverage looks at it. You have to pay for this. And
Ay, ay,
again, just from a simple practical point of view, to
Well, they also have to look at. I mean, we have butchers out there that are claiming they know how to practice abortions, do abortions, and they're using. I'm sorry to sound gross, but they are. They're using hangers.
the old wooden
The old
wire
you know,
hanger.
Yeah.
Let's take a
to-
look
to-
at that.
to
Let's
pluck
take a
them
look at
out.
the people who
But that's an old practice from way back when.
From way back, and let's take a look at that for sure. I mean, that is like using a
That-
hanger,
Yeah.
and then using whatever it is you need to use to get that baby out, and boom, the baby's gone, and so is the mother.
Ugh.
You know,
Jade.
Wait,
And the
and,
mother,
and
please.
both?
Huh?
Both? Well, when
well,
you're
it's
doing that,
risky for
I
the
feel
mother.
like
It's
you
risky,
need to
know?
you need to have safe abortions because people are gonna have them regardless of
Yeah.
whether or not they're safe. So make
Well-
them safe. I'm totally for honestly like all the way to the end.
Well, going back to what Marlene's describing, we're going not just so well. Now you can still have people. There's a YouTube video for everything to be
Oh, yes,
sarcastic
of course,
about it.
absolutely.
But going
But
back,
we don't want people going on
I
YouTube
understand.
trying to do
No,
it.
I
Like that's
understand.
horrible.
No,
No,
I
we don't
understand
want that
that.
either. Yeah,
But going back, way back when people didn't have access
Mm-hmm.
and they were afraid of what their parents would say, especially if the daughter was with someone who was
The-
black or if
the
they knew the
time
guy was
period.
a Jew and they didn't want their parents to know or they were ashamed, they didn't just go for an abortion. The term
They-
was getting fixed.
yeah,
And
fixed.
that's what it
Getting
was.
Yeah,
fixed.
the time period.
And a
the
lot of
situation.
people-
Uh-huh.
Sometimes it worked out. Sometimes
Yes,
it
it
didn't,
didn't.
and the mother died.
Mhm.
Because you remember, you're taking a hanger,
Yeah, that's
you
right.
unravel it. It's a sharp
Jesus.
object. You don't. There's
I
arteries.
know.
You don't know what you're nicking, and
I mean, that is so disturbing.
But
to
that's
even
what it
hear
is.
That, even imagine
So
But
from a
something.
you
like
also
that.
have to think these
standpoint-
women are not doing that just because they need.
they felt they had
need
to for
They
whatever.
needed to, yeah.
So
I
like
understand.
nobody's choosing to do this just because
But
like
that's what that's what I'm saying.
Ah.
From, whether you're for it or against it, from a practical point of view, it should be available. Unfortunately, at the time period we're describing,
Yeah,
people didn't always have a way to get there.
they didn't.
that's why we need this law.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm trying to say, so that they don't do that.
That's
Yes,
true.
they don't
So
do
it's
that.
a
Exactly.
great law.
But
I
what would-
Yeah.
So you agree with the law?
yes.
I see. Okay. I'm just
Yes,
trying to
because-
understand it. Yeah, I get it. Yes. Okay, I can understand.
It's
your
horrible. It
point.
shouldn't happen, but
Mm.
it's gonna happen, and let's make it safe.
Make it safe. Yeah,
I
Make
got
make
it.
it safe. No, I agree with you on that.
Well,
100%. Yeah, Safe.
Especially if something has happened to the baby in the
Mm.
middle of I can understand.
All right, let's make it.
If you have a perfectly healthy baby and you're going to give birth anyway in 3 weeks, I don't get the point of
I don't
this.
get the point of it either.
Yeah,
I
just don't
I
get the point
Not
of
on
it.
that.
I mean, don't just,
I agree.
just put a towel over your eyes. Let them do
Give
a C-section, a cesarean. Give the baby up for
Or have
adoption.
the baby.
You're there anyway.
Or have
This
just
is
have the
it.
baby and then give
sounds
it up for
crazy.
adoption.
Yeah, you're there anyway.
Yeah, what's
You're
the
just
point?
all we're really describing is a baby in a short period of time, adding say what 5 pounds.
Ridiculous.
Maybe.
I mean,
Yeah.
you might as well finish finish the term, have the child, and give it to a
Again,
loving family that will
family.
accept
Maybe
the baby and raise
If
the baby.
something happened to
Yeah.
the baby and it died at that late stage, I would understand.
You would
that.
understand it, right?
But a perfectly healthy baby, again, what's the difference at this point whether you're pregnant today or for 3 more
for
weeks?
3 more weeks.
Yeah.
Your back already hurts. Everything else that goes along with it is still in
You-
place.
you yeah, it's very. Oh my god.
Having the practice available is very important.
Yeah.
But something like this, you would have a hard time explaining to me why I have a perfectly healthy baby.
Right.
And what if it's
Well,
twins? I'm going to do 2. That's it. I'm going to deliver both of them, and that's it, by C-section, and just let them die. So you can't deliver them healthy; they'll just be born babies.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to put them in the NICU to help them survive. What are you going to do with them?
Right.
Also, like spiritually, like I totally also believe like in reincarnation so much
Mm-hmm.
that like those babies are gonna be born again. Like like
But
you
that-
just have to let it go. I'm sorry. There's so many children alive out there that aren't getting the stuff
Yeah,
that they
that's-
need to have an unwanted baby. All right, can I just say
you're,
like
you're absolutely right.
can I just say
Jay.
like for my personal view, this is kind of like why I'm afraid of having children because I'm afraid of like honestly birthing a baby that has something wrong with them, right? Carried all the way to term, actually got to be born, and then the day I meet him, like he's never gonna be an independent adult.
I can understand
I'm
that.
sorry, but like
what-
I don't know if I could do that, and I would rather not have everyone make me.
No, I can understand that.
You choose.
I would
Yeah,
understand
your
that.
own
I
choice.
totally agree with you. But this law he's describing doesn't say sick or healthy. It just
But
says.
it doesn't. But I feel like
And-
it's the woman's body.
But it's been her body for, I'm saying, going into the 9th month. So that's fine. But I want to meet the doctor that says, well, what do I do now?
What do you do now? Yeah.
Oh, okay, but, what do we do with this kid? There's nothing wrong with him.
Yeah. That's. I don't know. Very
I mean, to be
touchy
perfectly
topic.
blunt about it, unlike a 3-month abortion where there's really nothing, it's you now have pretty much just about a full baby. What are you going to dig him out of there piece by piece? I hate to say it.
Yeah.
Well, look at the look on your face. But how are you going to?
How
do
are
this?
you going to do it?
Unless
Right.
you deliver him safely for the mother and the baby.
Exactly.
Now, what do you do with him? Leave him out in the cold in the street? Where do you put him?
Yeah.
Now, again, unless there's something wrong with the mother or something has tragically changed with the baby.
With the baby.
When you say where do you put them, do you mean like? What do
Jay,
you mean?
you-
You're
you-
saying
we're
that you can go to
aborting the-
but you're saying they can go to adoption. What do you mean,
But
where do you put
this
them?
is a matter of aborting the baby.
Like-
She's not delivering it.
If the baby is aborted and it comes out alive,
That's
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
They kill it in there, and
That's,
they're
that's
just so
right.
yes.
But
have
that
to-
leaves us with you want us to kill a perfectly healthy baby when in 3 weeks you're going to 3-4 weeks you're going to give birth
inside of a
anyway,
human
and we're
being.
going to have to do the same procedure on you to do it. But it just to me at this point, give me a practical reason as to why this particular
well,
thing.
practically, it probably costs a lot less money.
Yeah.
Then what stopped you in the 6th month, in the 5th month, the 4th month?
Stress. I mean, come on. You might not be able to make that decision right away, but hey, closer to the date, you're like, oh shit, I cannot handle this.
Cannot handle.
Oh
yeah.
shit, oh shit, oh shit, I can't handle this.
Well, I'm using I'm
like-
using the idea of going into the 9th month. Was there a cutoff date of when like the day before you're doing the 5th? Can you do it on the 4th?
No, it's illegal to go beyond that. You have until I was told possibly at the latest the 2nd month, almost going
That's
to the
of a normally accepted abortion.
yeah.
But this is for at the full term. It was 9th.
It's
This is a full
you know
term.
what? It's just so ridiculous. I can't wrap my eyes. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe in what you're saying. Have the child and then give it to a family that will love and take care of that child. Obviously, if you're going to have an abortion in your 2nd or 3rd month, the kid's going to be dead.
And don't get me wrong.
Where are you going to put it?
I-
Well, where else? The kid is dead. You're not going to give it up for adoption. Where's it going to go? It's gone. You've killed a baby. It's aborted. I mean,
don't get me wrong. I am not fully in favor of women who are very careless with their bodies, who get pregnant every month and run for their every
Yeah,
other month abort.
right,
That's
'cause
also I'm not in
that's-
favor.
yeah.
As a practice in general, I think yes, it's very important to have it around. But in the case, if you can, so now we're halfway through the 9th month. When people do give birth a couple of weeks early, it
that can
happens.
happen. 7
It
months. You're going to have a baby at
happens.
7 months. 6 months.
Well,
People have people.
but
Say
we're
6
not going to go
months.
6 months. We're going to say because this law allows you in the 9th. It's law.
the
Oh,
ninth
that's
month, ninth
ridiculous. I can't even repeat myself. It is a ridiculous law. They know it's wrong. It makes no sense. The baby is already full,
And don't
fully
get me wrong.
formed.
Yeah, but to Jade's point, I guess.
and they have to cover
Yeah,
everything. Not every baby is that healthy. Like,
It's
of
that,
course, I think that also go into the woman's decision. Like, if the baby's healthy, that's probably not happening as much to those babies.
Right.
This is probably like, oh, there's a chance that he might
Right.
be born with this. If in the 8th month, in the 9th month, there's a chance.
A chance?
A
Well,
chance.
but-
I'm sorry because I don't want to.
well,
I don't
right
want to raise a
now,
baby like that.
well,
I don't
as-
ever want to have
Well,
a
the
child that
danger
can't
is
be
higher.
independent.
It's a higher danger's
as
higher.
medical science can detect now, they will know. Assuming that nothing, like you don't take a wrong fall, nothing happens to you, you don't contract something, there's no disease. They can tell you now what's up with your baby early on. They will know
Right.
if your baby's being born with 6 heads.
Oh,
If
well,
they
yeah.
they know your baby's healthy in the 8th month. They know right away. Again, as you've heard me say about gift giving, it's the thought that counts,
It's
and you
the
can
thought
think
that
what you
counts.
want. But even the thought takes a little thought.
Yes.
You're here anyway.
Even the thought takes a little thought. Yes.
You're here anyway. There's nothing wrong with this kid. You're here now.
Might as well.
Yeah.
You know, this just makes no sense.
That is how I
That is
think
a
about
a
that.
Very silly law. It's just
Well, if the child is born, as Jade is saying,
really
you can't
tough.
provide or whatever, this child's going to grow up suing you. to this guy
for not
Raphael's-
having me. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Uh,
right. The
Wait,
ghost
what?
of the fetus is going to
Or
sue
for
you
having
for
me.
not having you.
For not having it.
for not having or for having me.
Wait, what do you mean
because
for having?
you
That
could
case
provide
before they'll
for
take
me,
his-
or
yeah.
maybe there's an illness or whatever, and because of your decision, I'm suffering. I'm
Well,
alive.
I also feel that.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't
That's-
want to also give a baby up for adoption, and then 18 years later he comes to find me, and I have to tell him this.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, I tried to do my best.
Yeah.
This never happened to me, but I'm just saying, like, I can understand a woman's or guy's point of view in this. Like, if I was to give a baby up for adoption and I didn't want that baby, I don't want that baby coming to me at 18 years later.
Somehow.
And he's gonna, because he's gonna want to find his mom. He's gonna want to,
Right.
and then he's gonna be very disappointed. Like,
How do you know that?
well, not in every situation, but
But yeah, right.
if the woman really didn't want to, like, come on.
But how do you know that?
I don't, but you don't know that didn't happen. You don't
So you would a baby on an if?
on an if. I don't ever want to give a baby up for adoption. No. No, I don't.
But
want
giving
to.
up for adoption, that's no good because of an if, and if.
What do you mean?
What do you
If
mean?
the baby wants to find you, if the mother doesn't want to be found, if the
That's
baby
after.
doesn't want to,
Yeah.
Yeah,
if
That could
there's
happen
a lot of
after. That could happen.
questions,
but
you
no, a child is gonna want to find his parents. Like, which one won't? Which one?
there have been some that haven't.
Yeah, some it's not
and
all kids.
That's probably very. I mean,
Not-
he's wondered.
Look, my,
Right.
Every
Not
kid
all
has
kids.
wondered. Every
Not-
adopted kid there has wondered.
My guess, I'm guessing on this.
Maybe he doesn't want to me. Maybe
since-
chooses he doesn't want to meet it, but
since
he's
the
wondered.
odds of me becoming pregnant and having a baby is very remote, my guess is you've now seen your own sonogram. You've seen whatever test, any picture they printed up, they could show the family, everybody at the office. You've seen it. You've heard the heartbeat when in the doctor's office. My guess, if this happens, there are going to be plenty of mothers who will hear that heartbeat for the rest of their lives, and you're going to, I won't say all, but it's going to haunt them
Of
for the
course.
rest of their lives.
Of course.
That's how I think. Unless something has gone drastically wrong. If the baby died, something drastically wrong has happened. I don't see any practical reason, any reason whatsoever why you're going to give birth in a couple of weeks anyway, but we want to get rid of it today. And there's got to be a big why because of that. That's not just, okay, I changed my mind. Why?
Well, these people who choose to do that, it's not I'm not going to have this baby. There's a reason why they don't want to have this baby. And it's probably a huge reason.
And I want to
huge
see the
reason.
doctor that performs this thing. Anyway, it is now 9:55, and we're about
Oh,
done.
my goodness.
Time-
Wow.
Time
that was
flies
a
when you talk about
really
unpleasant things.
intense.
And that's
Okay.
when you're up front and you don't not worry about being politically correct and you say things as they need to be said because I really don't give a shit who I offend in these areas.
Yeah.
Pat Saintville, Marlene Villafane, thank you for hanging in.
Oh,
Thank
my
you.
pleasure.
Thank
This
you.
has been
You're
fun.
wonderful.
And
Great
this is-
experience. Yeah.
It's
Jade,
a pleasure.
thank,
Thank
you
you.
for chiming in.
Pleasure.
I feel so honored this week.
Isn't Jade wonderful? We love Jade. We love
And
you,
I didn't
Jade.
need to play. I had
love
the
you, Jade.
perfect
My
song
goodness.
for the end of this day with, but I'll save it for another time because there's always another day like this. When I go home, I'm going to hear all the comic relief of the State of the Union address and the response.
The comic
I
relief.
want to know deep down if there's like a love affair going on between Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy
They make a
Pelosi.
cute looking couple. And someone left their glasses here. Whose is this?
I have no clue.
Does this
is it?
belong
Is this?
to Ed Levo?
No, it was here before we.
It's been there for weeks.
Okay.
Oh, really? God, I wonder whose it is.
Oh, let's find out. Before I go, I want to know if someone's been in this room. Whoa.
Let's check it
Okay, that's the end of the week. We are out of here. I will see everybody next week. Thank you, Jade. Thank you, Marlene. Thank you, Pat. And I will leave all of you with a lot to think about. Not everything is racism, and even the thought takes some thought. Think in 3D, people. Have a good night.
Ooh.
Hi, Grandma. Can Nina come over for dinner?
Sure. I've been meaning to ask you, what would happen if someone offered you a drink?
Grandma?
If anyone ever does, I want you to say, no, I have too much respect for my family and I don't want to get in trouble.
I promise, Grandma.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. That's underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. This message brought to you by SAMHSA and this station.
Yo, what's going on? Y'all listening to Skies Crescent Radio, and here's what's coming up. On the first Sunday of the month, we have the Poet Podcast with Dale Novella. On the second Sunday of the month, we have the Soul Tree Spotlight with Earlene Stephen, and we also have Keeping It Funky with Troy Weeks. On the third Sunday of the month, we have Boozy News with Supreme Bars. And on the fourth Sunday of the month, we have What's Really Good with Jeanette Berry and Clout Dealers with The Label Noir. And every Sunday at 7, we have Can We Not with Evan Combis. Peace.
It's hard to miss a day of work, but it's easy to spread influenza. Stay home if you get sick. It's the flu season. For more information on symptoms and treatment, visit mdhflu.com. Sponsored by the Minnesota Department of Health, aired by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle